My husband Lee lost 60 pounds after 50, and we put the whole thing, 40 minutes of it, the struggles, the aha moment, the dirt bike wake up call in my very first YouTube episode. But here's what you didn't see in that episode. You didn't see what I designed for him and how he lost that 60 pounds. I'll be breaking it down for you and how I made it actually sustainable as far as like food and workouts and such. And before we go any further, I want to share with you how I'm going to use this channel moving forward. You've probably noticed in my episodes, whether it's with Lee, with a friend, or with a wellness guest, that I don't interject my opinions too much. And that's by design. I listen and I let them tell their story. That's on purpose. Their voice matters. Their experience is real. But my opinion, my perspective, what I would have done differently or designed specifically for someone in their situation, don't always say that during the interview because that's not the time or the place for it. So this is where I'm going to do it in these short commercial trailer episodes. For every single guest episode I have, I'm going to come back and give you my take, what I noticed, what I would recommend, and what I have seen work for clients over the decades that I've been coaching. Think of it as a director's commentary for your health journey. So this episode with Lee, this is the first one. And moving forward, anytime you see one of these short breakdowns, this is where Carol gets to talk. So let me remind you, if you've seen the episode or if you've not seen the episode, I'll give you a little breakdown. In the beginning, before we changed our lifestyle, Lee was skipping meals, not eating anything all day until I came home for dinner, and then overeating at night once he got home. We were feeling stuck in Arizona hibernation mode, too hot to move, and Lee had a dirt bike crash that made him realize that something had to change. He wasn't looking for a six-pack. He just wanted to not feel terrible anymore. So here's what I built for him. Nothing extreme. It was totally sustainable. First of all, we follow an 80-20 rule. We follow an 80-20 plan. So 80% of the time, we are on it. We are eating whole foods, organic when we can, real food, no processed food, prioritizing protein. 80% of the time, we are on it. 20% of the time, we give ourselves grace. So that 20% of the time is ice cream or chips or whatever we want to eat. That no rules 20% of the time, like complete freedom. Now, in the beginning, right after I quit corporate America, just over 2 years ago, I set us up on a meal plan. So now Lee was eating nothing at work all day and then coming home and having dinner. This is before, right? I knew that needed to change. I set him up I probably set it up to do it for a month, but it probably was only about 2 or 3 weeks worth, to where I was making a shake for breakfast and then a snack, a lunch, a snack, and then he'd come home and we'd have dinner. So I'd send him to work with, a shake out the door and then snack, lunch, snack in his lunchbox. So that was fine for a couple of weeks, but he just got to a point where he didn't want to chew any food at work anymore. He really has a hard time eating food at work. He has a really hard time with that. And that's just him, it just is him. So we had to find a workaround with that. So I changed up the snacks a little bit. I maybe did 2 snacks and no lunch, tried that until we realized that for him, a shake for breakfast, a shake for lunch, and then a dinner on work days was perfect for him. So that's what we've set up. The food, if I was to explain what the food looked like, the food would look like a shake for breakfast, a couple of hard-boiled eggs, and a piece of fruit for a snack. Lunch might be either leftovers from the night before, so maybe some rice and protein and veggies, most often something like that. And then afternoon snack might be sliced turkey and snap peas or some tuna and some veggies or something like that. What he's on now is 2 isogenic shakes a day and then dinner. Workouts look like Monday through Thursday, he goes to the gym when he gets home from work. He spends 30 minutes in the gym. From the time he walks through the door till the time he walks out is 30 minutes. So walks in, 10-minute warm up, 20 minutes of weights out the door. Okay. So 4 days a week. So that's Monday through Thursday with a flex day in there. So Wednesday we fast. So we eat no food on Wednesday. So Wednesday's one of those days. Sometimes he just doesn't feel like going to the gym on those days, and sometimes he does. So we just keep it to where it's still on the schedule, but if he doesn't do it, that's okay. And then on the weekends, we either walk one or both of the days. So, and when we do a walk, we either do 2 or 3 mile walk, or we'll go hiking or something like that. So nothing extreme, just nature, wander. So it's really pretty low key. Didn't start out feeling that way in the beginning, he would say. And I would say even taking a walk was a little bit like I felt like I was dragging myself a little bit, right? Um, but it doesn't feel like that anymore at all. So things do change and they do get better. If you haven't watched the episode with Lee, he talks about in the beginning how he would actually get on a machine and put no weight on there. I mean, he would put a little bit of weight on there, but he'd go really lightweight just to go through the motions, right? Just to get the movement, just to create the habit of getting to the gym and actually doing it. So for the first couple of weeks, it was really getting there, going through the motions, and just getting in the habit of actually going to the gym. And then our dinners are typically, most nights we have a salad, most nights, and then we'll have a protein with it. So chicken or beef or turkey or, whatever protein we feel like. And then I'd say about 50% of the time we'll have rice or bread or some sort of starch with it. So it'll be a protein, a rice, and a vegetable or a salad. It honestly is nothing fancy or flashy. I think that's why it works. But here's what I know going in. Lee is not the type of guy that wants to feel punished. He doesn't want to feel punished after a workout. He wants to feel like that felt good. That was great. That was what he was looking for. I knew that going into it. So I made sure that it was really, truly sustainable. And let's be honest, us being over the age of 50, we don't recover like we did, in our 20s and 30s. And so just knowing that, I knew that we needed to take little steps forward. And the design was simple and on purpose, one small step at a time. That's the Fun to Be Fit Over 50 way. I really want to make sure that everybody knows that just doing a little something does make a difference. And as far as the workouts go, I just want to be sure to let you know that 4 times during the week on weekdays after a long day at work may sound like a lot. And I get it. I do get it. But it is true what he said in that episode about, I can have 3 beers or I can go to the gym for 30 minutes. I mean, it really is like pick your habit. What habit do you want to actually stick to? And in that episode, he really tells you his real frustrations, his real lived experience with it, his, the good, the bad, all of it. And there's a lot of wisdom in that because he's gone through it. The frustrations, the doubts, having to go get new jeans, all of that, good, bad, however you look at it. And that's all in the first episode. And I'll link that here in the description so you can see it if you've not seen it. And if you've not watched it, watch it with your husband or your partner or for yourself if you need it for yourself. I'm telling you, if my husband, which was never somebody that would work out in the gym, is actually going to the gym on a regular basis and enjoying it, if he can do that, anybody can do that. I am so proud of my husband for what he's accomplished. And I think that, if you really want to change like he did, you can. And you just got to take the first step. Just take a step. Change is possible. Thanks for being here. This is the first of many breakdown episodes. The next one I'll be doing is covering Susan McMaster's episode. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss my take on every guest we have. I'm Carol, and I'll see you at the next one.